experience the fulfillment and growth that comes through healthy relationships. We're wired for relationships. So tune in and join with me as I explore and discuss tools for healthy relationships every Monday, 12:15 p.m. on Isaac 98.1 FM.
All right, guys, welcome back to the program Healthy Relationships. We are getting ready to head right in at this time. I want to welcome back Petreece and say hello and good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Petreece. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Tiffany. I am good and I'm really glad to be back. And I'm glad to be back feeling rested.
I see you had an
So,
excellent time, so that is great. Great family time.
yes. It
All
was
right.
good. Thank God. Thank God. Yeah.
Amen. Amen. All right. So, well, at this time, let me hand right over to you.
All right. So, I'm very proud of myself today. This is number 10 of the characteristics of healthy marriage. Remember, it's a whole series, and I would have done 9 of these 10 characteristics. And today I am doing number 10. So we're actually finishing this series today. And of course, I'm already in prayer about what I should be doing. Of course, people can send me, people send me messages on my page on Facebook. You can send me a WhatsApp message if you have an idea of what you may want to hear about on the program. So we're looking at the 10 characteristics of healthy marriage, and I'm doing number 10, which is a growth mindset. So, of course, a reminder of what those 10 are. Number 1 is commitment, 2, fidelity, 3, acceptance of one another, 4, trust, 5, emotional intimacy, love and affection, 6, shared activities and friendship, 7, communication, 8, conflict resolution and empathy, 9, intentionality, and number 10, a growth mindset. So, a growth mindset says that you, your spouse, your relationships are capable of growth and change. A growth mindset is necessary if we have to have a successful relationship, a successful marriage. Successful relationships thrive on each individual being willing to change, actually changing, and believing that change is possible. So it's not just about you have to be willing to change, but then you have to actually change, right? And you also have to believe that change is possible. And not just change is possible for the relationship, of course, including that is that my partner can't change, because sometimes we can't interact with people as if, they can't change. And this is just how she is. This is how she is. They can't change. And there's something about people living up to our expectations, right? Whether those expectations are positive or negative. Because, of course, negative expectations can be very discouraging. Now, if one person is open to change and the other person is opposed to change, the relationship cannot grow or become healthy, and that's understood. To build a successful, healthy, thriving marriage, you will have to focus on growth, not on happiness. Happiness is a byproduct of growth. So as we continue to grow as a couple, it makes us happy. Happiness is based on happenings. When good things happen, we feel happy. So a fixed mindset is actually what is opposite to a growth mindset. So you can either have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. And just understand that nobody totally has a growth mindset in everything. There are areas where changes need to be made, just like nobody will always have totally a fixed mindset, right? But a fixed mindset says a person's qualities and traits are fixed and cannot change. Those who hold a fixed mindset believe that they are either good or bad at something based on their makeup or their inherent nature. When it comes to relationships, a person with a fixed mindset believes that the relationship is either meant to be or it's not meant to be. So if things not working, we weren't meant to be. If it's working, we were meant to be. So when they encounter challenges, they see the relationship as bad and as showing the inadequacies of their partner, which cannot change, the person cannot change, and this person is wrong for them. So you see this? This is too much pressure. Something is wrong with this person. Something is wrong with this relationship. This is not our destiny, right? This relationship cannot change. It is wrong. Now, in a marriage, you can have a fixed mindset about three things. You can believe that your qualities are fixed, your spouse's qualities are fixed, and the relationship qualities are fixed. So you're in a relationship and you feel like so we having a lot of conflict, right? This shows this relationship could never be healthy because we just having so much conflict. This cannot, this cannot be fixed, right? And the relationship is either inherently good or bad. It's either meant to be or not to be. And that is what having a fixed mindset looks like in a relationship. Now, Carol Dweck, a professor of psychology at Stanford University, and many people who would have dealt with things like mindsets and stuff would know this name. She's one of the world's leading researchers on motivation and mindsets. Her work focuses on why people succeed and how is it possible to foster this success. Professor Dweck saw certain behaviors as indicating the presence of a growth mindset or fixed mindset, which she studied and wrote on extensively. Fulfilling marriages thrive on each spouse changing. So the person I am today is not the person I was when I started my marriage, of course, right? But each spouse must be on board for what is necessary. So what is necessary for this to be a healthy marriage? Each spouse needs to be on board with that. If one person is open to change and the other is opposed to it or the other is unwilling, the relationship, of course, cannot grow, cannot change or improve. So Dweck shared that the afraid of change mentality sometimes mixes with the superiority complex, in which a victory for your spouse is irrelevant or even damaging if you yourself have not experienced some sort of gain from that victory for your spouse. If your initial reaction to your spouse's good news is how is this going to affect me, rather than, wow, this is good for you, I'm happy for you, bitterness and envy will dominate. There is nothing sustaining about being with someone who tries to drag you down instead of lifting you up. So people can show up with almost they don't want to change. And a lot of times it is coming out of fear and coming out of, I need to see what is in this for me. Most people believe that marriage will have conflict. Most of us, if not all of us, believe that because it's true. All marriages have conflict. All relationships that have any lasting to it. So it's going on and on and on. They will have conflict. But some persons do not realize that some conflicts can be huge. So even in a marriage, we can have very huge conflicts. They can get big, right? Couples with a growth mindset see conflict, big or small, as painful and as uncomfortable as it is, as a time we can learn things about ourselves, about our spouse, about the relationship that can help to make us better partners and help us to have better marriages. So when you have a growth mindset, you understand that, listen, conflicts could be small, they could be big, but we could learn from this. We could change, we could grow as a result of the information that we get in terms of us being able to deal with the conflicts. Now, I found what I'm going to share here a little funny, but I like the concept, right? And it is she actually came up with this concept. Is blame an ever-present theme in your relationship? Duet created a third character. So when they have in conflict, what she did is that they created in her marriage this third character called Maurice. I don't know how they came up with that name, right? When issues between her and her husband arise, instead of blaming the other person, they blame Maurice. Then they discuss how Maurice would best grow from the situation. Now, it may sound funny, it may even sound stupid, right? But this creates an emotional and cognitive distance from blaming the other as well as self-blame. So critical thinking is important when it comes to matters of the heart, but always playing the victim or victimizing the other keeps you stuck in that fixed mindset. So what they did, so instead of, us going into a dark place of probably, playing the victim, oh gosh, it's always me, I was doing something wrong, what is wrong with me? And therefore we get stuck. We can't do anything if that is the place that we are coming from. Or if we go into the whole thing, it's always you, blaming the other person. We can't get stuck. So what they did was to make a little bit of cognitive distance. So, okay, it's Maurice's fault. Let's look at what Maurice has done and how Maurice needs to change. And of course, then apply it into their own selves and in their marriage. So a growth mindset thrives on challenges and sees failure not as evidence of you're not smart, you're unintelligent, but as an opportunity for growth and for stretching our abilities. As I say to people, we need to see failure as a stepping stone to success. Failures teach us a lot about ourselves. That's very important. So failing doesn't mean you're a failure. Failing simply means you fail. Failing simply means there's something probably I don't know. There's something I need to get better at. There's something I don't understand, right? There's something I didn't consider, right? So failing doesn't make you a failure. We learn a lot from it and we can use it as stepping stones for a future successful outcome. So characteristics of a fixed mindset with respect to relationships, and I just have two. One, if you have to work at it, it wasn't meant to be. One problem is that people with a fixed mindset expect everything good to happen automatically. It's not that the partners will work to help each other solve their problem or gain skills. It is that this magical thing will occur through their love for each other. Our love will take us through this. Our love will conquer every hill. We'll just know how to do it. If you love me, you will know what to do. You will know what to say. That's a fixed mindset, right? And this is the sort of way that things happen in those fairy tales. So, Sleeping Beauty was in a coma. And of course, she was cured by Prince Charming's kiss. Cinderella, who had a miserable life, and her life was, suddenly transformed by, of course, her Prince Charming, right? So no work transformed it, right? And so if we have to work at it, it wasn't meant to be. And that's a fixed mindset. All marriages take work, right? All marriages take work. And the second characteristic of a fixed mindset with respect to marriage is problems indicate character flaws. Problems indicate character flaws. The second big difficulty with the fixed mindset is the belief that problems are a sign of deep-seated flaws. But just as there are no great achievements without setbacks, there are no great relationships without conflicts and problems along the way. We have to remember, we're not in a perfect world. Everybody has something that they're dealing with, right? And just because we're dealing with something, it doesn't mean somebody has some great character flaw that cannot be changed, that cannot be fixed, all right? Very important. Great marriages, you would have had your setbacks, you would have had your conflicts, you would have had to do a lot of problem solving along the way. So we need to cultivate awareness in our relationships. If we have to be looking at what type of mindset do I have here, regularly talking with your spouse about areas of improvement and lovingly suggesting small ways to move in a positive direction is the foundation for creating a growth mindset in relationships. And you have to remember what I spoke about before, that characteristics of intentionality. We have to be able to be intentional about our marriages getting better and moving forward and being healthier, right? So there must also be a willingness for feedback if we have to have a growth mindset. Where we make specific suggestions for improvement, that is essential for a lasting love. Consider ways both of you can make efforts to improve the relationship and how you can grow together. This is what a growth mindset is about. A growth mindset is our relationship can improve. A growth mindset is I can improve. A growth mindset is my spouse can improve, right? Now, the benefits of a growth mindset. 1, you can nourish your relationships. A person with a fixed mindset expects a romantic relationship to be perfect and refuses to accept the idea that a successful relationship will require work, and sometimes hard work in the beginning. They want to be placed firmly on a pedestal by their spouse, and they see any disagreement as disastrous rather than natural and inevitable. Someone with a growth mindset, however, understands that two people coming together will always have differences and will have many conflicts. They get the fact that a relationship involves both parties learning about the other and growing together and developing the skills that they need to work as a team. The next thing that happens if we have a growth mindset, the benefit of a growth mindset for our relationship, you will judge yourselves and others less. When we have a growth mindset, you will judge yourself and others less. If you have a fixed mindset, our reflex is always to judge and to evaluate things that are going on around us. Everything that happens is used to assess things, like whether we good or we bad, or whether we're doing better than the other person or not. It's not about that. It's about growth. So even sometimes, I remember somebody telling me, Petreece, you have so much patience. I was sewing some curtains, and I think I had to rip them out and sew them over and whatever. And the person saying, oh my God, you have so much patience. I said, no. I said, this didn't happen today. I said, I am older than you. And this patience that I have did not come overnight. This took time. So I want you to know that you are most likely right where I was at your age, right? So don't compare yourself with me. You just continue to grow. You continue to grow and you will get there. So when you have a fixed mindset, you're comparing who better than no. When you have a growth mindset, you're thinking about growth, right? You accept that you'll fail from time to time, even when you have good intentions. And we are focused on getting better and also on our relationship getting better. Number 3, you thrive off constructive criticism. This is a big one, right? There are few more valuable skills than being able to accept constructive criticism and using it as a platform for growth. If you can see criticism as an opportunity to improve rather than taking it to heart, or even just becoming defensive and shutting it down, or shutting down the sharer, the person, there will be no stopping you. And we know in marriage, this is something that is common. And I know there was a time I was a very defensive person, right? Especially during courtship, and I had to deal with that. When we are able to take criticism and, not be defensive, not take it to heart, we can grow so much, right? So that in the same way, a growth mindset means that you do not need constant validation to reassure you that you are getting things right. And remember, criticism does not mean that you are not valuable. Criticism has nothing to do with your worth, right? Criticism has nothing to do with your identity in Christ. Criticism simply says, I am not perfect and I have room and areas for improvement. Yeah? Number 4, you chill out and enjoy the ride. With a growth mindset, you're able to not always take things so seriously, right? Because it is not always about getting everything right and being perfect, because it is about growth. A growth mindset is about growth and change and trying new things, failing and trying again. That's what a growth mindset is about, right? Remember again, your worth, you are always priceless, whether you're failing or you're succeeding. Your identity is in Christ. So what it means is that I don't always have to get everything right. Sometimes I could take a risk. I may fail, but then I learn something that I didn't know before. So you're able to chill out about this whole things being perfect and things always being right. Number 5, benefits of our growth mindset. You lower your risk for experiencing depression. You lower your risk for experiencing depression. It has been shown in various studies that looking at life through the lens of a fixed mindset has increased risk for depression. And that's logical, when you think about it. As you take any setback far more seriously if you have a fixed mindset. Because remember, a fixed mindset either says, I'm either good or I'm bad. So it's all or nothing, right? So you can see how when you have setbacks, when you have failures, you can really take it badly, take it really, really seriously, right? You can start to question your abilities or even who you are as a person when you deal with setbacks and failures with a fixed mindset. In a growth mindset, you no longer expect perfection. You always want to do your best. Perfection, as you know, it may happen, but it may not, right? So you would not be as likely to experience anxiety and depression when you fail. So having a great mindset sounds great. I'm sure it does, right? But no one is ever going to have a full growth mindset in all areas of their lives. Nobody. So I can probably check in some areas and see where I have a fixed mindset and I have to work on that, right? But through awareness, effort, determination, and God's grace, you can free yourself little by little from your constricting fixed mindset. The key is to make changes to the way you think. And of course, we understand that sometimes this can happen slowly. You cannot get up one day and decide that you're going to run a marathon tomorrow, and you haven't exercised in a whole year. You cannot expect your brain to work in a way that it has not been trained to. So if even as you're listening and you realize, I have a fixed mindset in many areas, including possibly my marriage, then you need to make steps towards changing that. And the first step is to recognize whether a fixed mindset dominates your life. You can do this by keeping track of your behaviors and thoughts, right? And I'm sure even just listening today, you're already having a good idea whether you tend more towards a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. And journaling can be very helpful here. You journal with a focus on the way that you respond to problems and setbacks or disappointments. So you want to look at, so you would have had a disappointment, a setback in some area, and journal about your behavior, your thinking, how you responded to it. And that starts to show you, do I have a fixed mindset here or do I have a growth mindset here, right? It's really a good way, journaling is a good way to identify how your brain is thinking. So in this what you're looking at my disappointments, my setbacks, my failures. How did I think about it? And how did I address it? Now, having become conscious of your thought patterns, try to catch yourself whether you start having fixed mindset thoughts. When a difficult situation presents itself, deliberately make the effort to respond in a way that will allow you to grow and learn. So my normal thing may have been to just give up. Just give up, whatever. See if you can respond in a different way. Record your successes in your journal. And what you want to be careful of, because people who are more on that fixed mindset, and even with dealing with things like perfectionism, is all or nothing. But what you have to remember, it is about growth. It is about growth. So am I improving? So I may not be where I want to be, but I'm surely not where I used to be. And that is very important, to celebrate growth. Another good strategy is to try to encourage a growth mindset in other people, whether children or adults. Focus on the efforts they make and the strategies they use when praising them. So you're praising a person, don't just praise a person for things, like I say, that they don't have anything to do with. I mean, God has given people different intelligences. People have different skin, different all kinds of things. You want to encourage people or praise people for what they have done with what God has given them. Wow, I love how you take care of your skin. The skin looks beautiful, right? Wow, that was a great job. I like how hard you worked at that. I like the fact that you didn't give up, right? So you're encouraging people for the way in which they have used what God has given to them, right? And the more you help people out, the more you will be helping yourself. I like how you handle that. I like how you took a different approach to that situation, because it helps you, right? Now, I didn't write this, what I'm going to read here below, but it was really encouraging, right? And I couldn't find the name of the author. I didn't write it. I couldn't find the name of the author, but it came from lessons from the end of my marriage.com. So it came from lessons from the end of my marriage.com. And this person was sharing on fixed mindset and a growth mindset. So a fixed mindset claims the product is all that matters. A growth mindset responds, I learn and grow through the process. A fixed mindset declares, my weaknesses are a part of who I am and should be hidden. A growth mindset insists, my weaknesses show me areas where I can improve. A fixed mindset believes in fate. A growth mindset takes responsibility. A fixed mindset blames and deflects. A growth mindset listens and adapts. A fixed mindset prefers to live inside a comfort zone. A growth mindset embraces the idea that growth occurs at the edge of panic and ease. A fixed mindset seeks a partner who worships and validates you. A growth mindset desires a partner who challenges and encourages you. A fixed mindset sees conflict in the marriage as a fatal flaw. A growth mindset recognizes conflict as an opportunity. A fixed mindset feels threatened by feedback and responds defensively. A growth mindset is grateful for the chance to improve. A fixed mindset creates a marriage that is rigid. A growth mindset leads to a marriage that is flexible and adaptable. And lastly, a fixed mindset is driven by a need for approval. A growth mindset is motivated by a need to learn. So one of the things, even as you're listening and you're viewing, just try to assess, do I approach life more with a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? Think about your marriage. Do we approach our marriage? Do I approach my marriage more with a fixed mindset or a growth mindset? So this is number 10 of the characteristics of healthy marriages. So at this time, I just want to recap those 10 that I would have done. And remember that you can go to FBN TV on YouTube. You can also check out Isaac 98.1 FM, their Facebook page, to listen to if you missed any, to listen to them again, or not again, to listen to them if you missed. And if you want to listen to them again, you can go on FBN TV or on Isaac 90.1 FM, their Facebook page. But those 10 characteristics of healthy marriage: 1, commitment. Spouses take a long-term view of the relationship. They intend to hang in there when things get tough. They are dedicated to making the marriage work, which means that sometimes they make personal sacrifices for the good of the relationship. They are also committed to any children they have from their own or previous relationships. You cannot have a healthy marriage without commitment. Secondly, fidelity. Spouses are faithful to each other, and sexual fidelity is very important. Spouses are faithful to each other and they honor their commitment. Number 3, acceptance of one another. Spouses accept each other for who they are. And remember, I would have spoken about it. We don't accept pain. We don't accept abuse. Abuseful behavior needs to change, not accept, right? But acceptance is very important for a healthy marriage. Spouses accept each other for who they are. And we have to remember that when one person tries to get the other to change, they are usually met with resistance. We cannot change another person. We can influence, but they have to decide to make the changes. Number 4, trust. Trust is very important. Spouses trust each other. Each spouse acts in ways that, 1, show they trust their spouse. So you act in a way that show that you trust your spouse, and 2, show that they are trustworthy. And I would have gone through the 5 types of trust that are necessary in all healthy marriages. It's not just with respect to fidelity, sexual fidelity. There are 5 types of trust, and you can go and look into that if you missed that. And number 5, the 5th characteristic of a healthy marriage is emotional intimacy, love, and affection. Spouses in a healthy marriage express feelings of love, care, and deep connection for one another. They also act in ways that enable their spouse to feel cared for and appreciated. For example, by spending time together, showing physical affection, including sexual intimacy, saying sweet things, giving gifts, etc. And there we would have also spoken about what is the emotion.
Petreece, are you there with us?
Extremely important.
We are losing you a little bit there, Petreece.
Okay,
All right.
am I
You're
back?
back. You're back, yeah.
All right, internet, yeah. Sorry about that. So, number 7, communication. Spouses are honest with each other. They say what is on their mind rather than holding things in, and they really, really listen. So, we don't do mind reading, but we also are good listeners. Number 8, conflict resolution and empathy. And I spoke a lot about empathy, conflict, right? So, that's a big one because all marriages will face conflict. Conflict is inevitable. And so, therefore, if you missed that one, please go back. I think I actually did that in about 3 or 4 parts when I dealt with conflict and empathy. And number 9, intentionality. All marriages have room for improvement. And what intentionality is, it really means that you identify a point of pain in your marriage and you think about, discuss how, as a couple, we can work on these things. How can we improve this as we work on it together? And you can have any goal, right? So spending more quality time, feeling more connected, increased sexual activity, speaking to each other more kindly, whatever it is you feel that we need to do to improve our relationship and be intentional about it. And of course, today, dealing with a growth mindset, and it really says that you and your spouse and your relationship are capable of growth and change. And just want to share here that even when I came back from the little break and I looked at my phone, I got about 2 messages from listeners to the program. So I really want to thank you for that, saying how helpful and beneficial this series has been. So I'm really thankful for that. I'm thankful for the fact that you were willing to share and give me that feedback. So I really pray that, even as I continue, as you put things into practice. So God bless you, bless you, bless you. I'm always praying for marriages, because I feel it's such an important foundation in society and, in life. We know that all marriages are not going to work. We know that, right? And one person alone cannot make a marriage work, right? But the good thing about it is that whether marriages work or they don't work, individuals can be healthy because our source is not your spouse. Our source is God, our creator and our savior. And he can heal and he can give strength no matter what we face to continue to move forward with our lives. So Tiffany, I hope in your hearing, turn it back over to you. Just realized my computer not plugged in, so I'm hoping that it wasn't too dark.
No, no, no. We are fine. We are fine. Let me just send out some greetings to persons who are locked on. Well, I don't know if Maurice is locked on, but
I like that.
but let me send out greetings going out to Cheryl Seeley. She's on saying blessed afternoon to everyone. Chosen Star. And Chosen Star says marriage is hard work. Right, and then we had another person answering to that. Marsha, good afternoon to you as well. Naturally, both of you all got to be on the same page and always put God before everything. Indira is also on with us. Would you like to take a call or two if we get?
Sure.
All right, so 622-1981, 628-1981. The phone lines are open now if anyone would like to call in. Maybe you just want to welcome back Petreece.
Yeah. So even if we're saying marriage is hard work, which is true, it is not hard work forever. A lot of times we're doing the wrong work or we're not working together. So just again, I hear that statement a lot. Marriage is hard work. Marriage is hard work. The truth about it, once we know what we need to be doing and we do the work, it's not forever hard work. So I don't feel like, oh my God, my marriage is such hard work, because I would have done the hard work and developed the healthy culture for interacting and for dealing with conflict and for dealing with different issues. And as one of the viewers would have said, putting God at the center of it. So, okay, God, what is your will here? What is love in here? But again, as somebody else said, I think I heard you say, it is about teamwork. Both of us, both persons have to be on the same page. And to be on the same page, communication becomes very important. We need to be truly hearing and understanding each other. Yeah?
Yes, so that would have answered that for Chosen Star, and that person is saying, okay, I understand. All right, so 2 minutes on the clock, 6221981, 6281981. If you wish to call in at this time, feel free to do so. And in the meantime, I will give you the WhatsApp only number. It's 3297383. Send a message only to Petreece, and she will respond. 3297383. I'm seeing Melissa is asking, what would you advise for persons dealing with an alcoholic and all the issues that arise, unwilling to change, and she's praying consistently?
Yeah, that's a very difficult situation to deal with any kind of abuse by a loved one or spouse. So that person, the person who is dealing with it, they should first seek help, right? They should first seek help. And I don't specialize in dealing with addictions or anything like that, but they should definitely seek help and find what would be the best way.
All right, so we seem to be losing you, Petreece.
Yeah.
All right, you are back. You are back now. Would you like to repeat that last end?
Right. So what I'm saying, it is a very difficult on my internet connection. You know what? I am on the wrong. Yes. I'm not on my normal. I'm not using the normal internet that I use. I realize I didn't change it.
Okay.
So sorry about that. But yes, definitely seek help for themselves. The person who is dealing with the addict should first get help for themselves and to find what would maybe the best way forward, because that is a challenging situation.
All right, yes. Well, thank you so very much. Can I hear the number again? Sure, that number is 329-7383. 329-7383. It's only a WhatsApp number, so send a message and Petreece will respond to you. All right, so that's it there, Petreece. Thank you so very much and welcome back again. We missed you. We missed you. But I know persons were able to get in the programs, all right, because we did reruns, and I know they were grateful for that. And of course, guys, remember you can check out FVN TV on YouTube and Isaac the Promise on Facebook. If you missed any at all, go back and you can also share the links, all right? So share the links with persons who would need to hear this type of information. Well, Petreece, thank you so very much once again, and we meet another day for some more of Healthy Relationships. God bless you.
Okay, great.
We
God
appreciate
bless you. Too. Bye-bye.
Until again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, I'm Petreece Cuffie, counselor and trainer, and one of my deepest desires is to see people experience the fulfillment and growth that comes through healthy relationships. We're wired for relationships, so tune in and join with me as I explore and discuss tools for healthy relationships every Monday, 12:15 p.m. on Isaac 98.1 FM.
Do you know why people like our station?
Why?